Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to talk about GSoC, that is Google Summer of Code. We'll be talking about what is Google Summer of Code, how as a student you can take part in it, how the open source organization aligns with GSoC, what is a proposal, what is a timeline, and all the ins and out of GSoC. And one of the most important thing, this is one of the method that gets you paid doing open source, right? So let's dive into it and look what GSoC actually is. So when you visit summerofcode.withgoogle.com, you get to see this site, right? By seeing this site and the stats they are having, you can imagine the boldness of this program. Let me tell you one of the most important thing that I think is important doing GSoC. So most important thing is add credibility to your profile. Right, when you complete GSoC, you will definitely having certain value as a student. That is most important thing while doing, working anywhere, right? Doing open source, doing development, working for organization, doing freelancing, everywhere. It adds a value. The most important values are development. So in the GSoC period, you will be working on a project and you will doing development. So and at the end of GSoC, you will be definitely gaining one of the most important thing, that is development. Next is teamwork. And you work on a team, you work remotely, and you work on certain project with certain team members, so you understand the whole development process, how it works, right? So this is one of the second thing. The third thing I feel is you gain a sense of confidence and using tools like Git and certain other tools as well, right? So that sense of confidence is gained when you complete GSoC, because there are so many things you have to do to participate in it, to get approved yourself as a student developer in an organization. You have to write proposal, you have to do development, and again you have to write blogs, you have to do many things, right? And on the go you learn so many things. That is super important. So that is one of the motivation. And one of the last thing is you can make a good amount of money doing open source. So you'll have a credibility, you have contributed somewhere, right? And you also get money. So let's deep dive and talk about what Google Summer of Code is. So in layman terms, it is a global program where student developers comes in and the organizations comes in and they are merged to work on a project, right? So the first and foremost, who are open source organization? Open source organizations are the organization who have their project open in the sense the source code of the project is open. Anybody can see that, anybody can modify that. The project on GitHub are open source, which are public, right? So what happens is this open source organization have certain projects, right? Suppose I have an organization who works on certain technologies and work on certain projects. So that can be open source organization. And what happens is students are there. Students are the people who work on the project and get the development up and running. So we have two entities now, student developers and the open source project and the organization, right? So what happens is Google comes in between of these two people, these two entities, and tells that, okay, all the organization come to our platform, that is Google Summer of Code, and student will be coming and applying to your project, right? By the help of certain tools we'll be talking about, right? And once they get approved, they work on certain project, that is your project, the open source organization projects, but the amount will be paying to the student, right? Google will be paying the amount to the student. So let me briefly brief it a bit. Like the open source organization comes in, the students comes in, Google's comes in between, join both of them, right? The student work on the open source project of the organization, but the Google pays the student actually, right? That payment differs country to country, right? I guess like it is completed. You have some sense of Google Summer of Code now. So what happens is every year Google comes forward and announces a timeline. This will be timeline of the GSoC program. So you can see the timeline out here, right? This is the timeline. So what happens is they announce the timeline. The first thing is happens organization application open. So they can take all the organization, all the open source organization who are having project to come into GSoC, and student come there and participate, right? They have to do some cut its in and out and select best projects. So first of all, the organization apply there in the GSoC portal. Organization apply and with their project, so they write proposal, they apply to the Google team, Google Summer of Code team will review it, and okay, this organization looks so good, they have awesome project, will approve them. So once they approve this organization, we'll have certain organization who are available in Google's of Summer of Code this year, right? So you have certain organization. Now what happens is, as you can see, organization are announced. After organization are announced, student period start. So what happens is, now student comes in, they see certain organization are participating, they see certain organization have certain projects where they can pitch in and do development. What they do is, they come in, they make a proposal, right? A proposal is generally for the project, like, okay, this is the project, I will be doing these things, I will be doing this things, this is improvement, this is development. You can generally search over Google that how a proposal looks like. You can definitely gain and learn about it and do that things as well. But proposal is one of the most important thing, because that is the thing that mentors of the organization will be seeing and approving your proposal. Then only you can go forward with that organization, right? We have the organization, we have the student will have a proposal for a project, they apply on organization. Last year it was, I guess, 4 proposal you can pitch, like 4 different projects or 4 different organization or any sort of thing. 4 proposal you can pitch, right? I don't know for this year, they will be, you will be seeing that in the dashboard once you register, right? So once the student application period start, you submit your proposal, right? All the proposal must be submitted by 13th of April 2021. So student can register themselves and submit their application to the mentor organization, and all the proposal must be submitted by 13th April, right? So this happens, right? You have a certain date and you have to submit the proposal within that. Now what happens is, application review period. The your proposal is verified and reviewed by the mentors of the organization, open source organization. They see how the proposal, he or she will be able to do the project or not, and things like that, right? After that, they announce that, okay, this proposal are good and we accept this particular student for this project, right? So now we have organization announce and student projects announce, right? And community bonding period, coding period, evaluation period, and all the periods goes after that, right? And they are divided into certain weeks that we'll be talking about some later on videos, right? You code the things, you do evaluation, you write blogs, and there are various things that you need to do, right? Then you have a final submission evaluation and results are announced, and in this results announced, you'll getting a certificate and amount, and the amount you get pay is within 2 things, I guess, right? Once you have first evaluation, you get the half money, and after the full evaluation you get later on money. But this is not only about money, it's a good thing to do. Actually, it's a super good thing to do, right? So I will suggest, first of all, go to this site, learn about this a bit, and start contributing into the organization that you want to participate in. Even the organization are not announced that they will be participating in this year GSoC or not, but there are always certain organization who are selected every year. So you can go to their project on their GitHub site. They have various channels, right? So I'll show you, right? So once you go about, so you will see various things. You can go to check out past project. So once you have this past project, like you can go to 2019 and you can check like what are the organization are selected. So once you have the organization selected, you can go to organizations, channels, various channels where they communicate, right? Suppose I go for Chapel, like I'll click on this, I can see like their mailing list, IRC channel, contact email. You can directly go and contact, right? They have certain projects. This project were there for 2019, right? So this is a organization and these are their project. So for each projects you can see various student work out on this project, right? So I would suggest go to this site and explore a bit. So in the coming videos of GSoC, maybe we will talk about how you can build proposal, what is the good and bad parts of the proposal, what you can keep, what you can't keep, right? So I guess you have got some gist about the GSoC, and we'll be talking about it bit later in the other videos as well. We'll be talking about some good parts and of how to build a good proposal, what are the projects you can pitch in, right? And one of the last thing is you can also filter by category, right? You can filter by the, suppose you know web development, you click on this web development and you get certain organization who are working on web development field, so you can go and contribute, right? You can see Webpack is one of the build tool that various people uses. It is also open source. So I would suggest go to this site and explore a bit and look into it, what it has to give it, right, to you. And we'll talk about this and other things in GSoC you can do in some other video as well. Till then, hit the subscribe button, comment down in the section, like this video. I'll see you next time.